that is not what we're going to be focusing on today. Today, we're going to be doing a continuation of what we did yesterday, which is creating an AI agent in Rust without using any AI agent libraries, like no frameworks. The most that I'm going to use is maybe like the OpenAI SDK, which is really just a library to hit the OpenAI, will hit any OpenAI endpoint. We're actually not going to use OpenAI for the AI part of it, the LM. We're going to be using OpenRouter and Haiku, which is an Anthropic AI. Okay, you know a bit. That's good. All right, so here's what the plan is. I didn't do this before going over with the JavaScript one, which we just sort of went in YOLO mode, but I had a bit of an idea. Let's actually think this through this time. So what do we want to do? Like what is an actual agent here? We want to get a prompt from the user. So get a prompt from the user. This should in fact be a loop, right? It's like this should be, in fact, if I just say infinite loop 2, they want to get a prompt from a user. And once we have the prompt from a user, we want to send prompt, or like we want to we want to send it to the AI. The AI is going to return with a response. So we want to process the response, add it to memory so we don't forget things in the past. And then we want to print out the response. So process the response really just means, it's not what I wanted. I wanted that. We want to add it to the memory, print out the response. That's great. Now, if we just do that, we have a simple chatbot. And I think we're going to stop here for like the initial bit, and we're going to create just a chatbot, which is infinite loop. We get a prompt, we send it to the AI, we process the AI's response, we add it to memory is not the right word because that's become a technical term for something else. This is more of like the context. So add it to the context so that way the next time we send something to the AI, we can see what it is. All right, let's do this. Now it's going to be a little bit more involved because we're in Rust. Rust, we for some reason we require types and all that stuff. Which personally I think is a good thing. I like working with a stronger typed language. Okay, so let us jump into, where are we? We have a main.rs. What do we need? I'm going to be using the main library we're going to be using. Let's go find crates. I want to let's see, what is it called? I think it's just OpenAI. And then I think that there is an async OpenAI. This one right here. So it's an async library for OpenAI. Now, the reason why I'm using the OpenAI one is because it's become a de facto standard. I don't think it's been like actually officially accepted by everybody else. It's just all of the AI providers started creating their AIs with the API that OpenAI used. Mostly so that way all the tools that OpenAI was using, they could just use with theirs, and you wouldn't have to do anything different in your application. So it was like the fastest sort of semi-standard that came out. I wouldn't be surprised with the environment that we're in right now with OpenAI that maybe Anthropic makes a push to try to get their API to become the standard, or just something else in general. So I mean, everything AI is changing so fast that I would not try to like worry about how things are. To be fair, OpenAI, when they were still open, published the specs in our API and told people to implement them. And the APIs work. That is true. Yes, I think also the fact that, when they were still open is a big part of that, because they haven't been open for a few years now. And it could be argued that they were acting not that open even back then. Okay, so basically, this is what we need. We need to have an open a API key. If I'm going localhost, I do not need this at all. I could just run with that. I could actually, it just takes anything really, because it's open. If I need a, so one of like the side effects of running things locally, especially with MLX, is there is no authentication. So that's something to be aware of. If I'm using with Open Router, I definitely need this. So let's go ahead and I'm going to copy over my .env from this other file. So let's go ahead, drop you down, shared. Oh, right. Code builds. Let's do AI agent with Rust. And I want to copy AI agent JavaScript .env to here. And we are not going to look at that because if I do, I will expose that credential. Although it might be dead now because I did set it to be a 24-hour one. And I don't remember how long into the stream I created that. At least that's what you should be doing. Okay, so in our main, you know what? We're running on async. Before I do any of this stuff, we have to install a few different things. So we have to do cargo add. All right, so we need Tokyo. So we need macros and RT multi-thread. That's good. Let's also bring in an error handling library. So cargo add. My favorite one is error. Come on, and color error. Cargo add, and we also want async OpenAI. Okay, so those things are all added in here. I should be able to speed restart and get this going. All right, color error, we will install you. Ooh, also, because I have that .env file, what would be nice is cargo add .env, which is a newer version of .env. Okay, so basically, we want to pull in the .env area. Let's also use this. Results, we're going to use that from error, that, and do that. Okay, we have a working main function, which is probably not all that impressive because we need a source lib to really do anything of any note. So pub async function run. We are definitely going to return a result. It's going to be an error result. Okay, now we get to start on what we're trying to do here. So we need an infinite loop. Well, that's easy. Infinite loop, done. Probably not all that useful yet. Okay, get a prompt from the user. All right, that's also pretty simple. Let's create a function to this. So pub function get user prompt. This can return a result with, we don't bring in both results. This will bring in a result with probably a string on the end of it. Now we can get standard IO, and I think that'll be fine. But I also want to prompt, like I want to, this is not going to be a purely functional function because I am also going to cause a side effect in it. So sorry about that. Let mute. So actually, do I need standard out? I do need standard out. So standard out equals standard out function like that. And then I can standard out. I want to write to buffer into this writer, returning how many bytes were written. I think that's fine. And I can just say that's my prompt as bytes. I think that returns an option, or sorry, that returns a result. Okay, and then I want to get standard in. So let's also, I'm creating all my variables up here. Let's get the prompt is equal to a string new. And here we're going to say standard in. Let's read the full line. Mute prompt. That puts that in there, and then I should be able to return the prompt. Okay, Oh, written amount is not handled. Oh, write all instead of, there's a better way of doing this, isn't there? I'm trying to remember how to do this without, I think maybe write all is what I want. Do that. And then I think I need to standard out. Oh, you know what I want to do? I don't need to do this. Hold on, I forgot. I can just get away with a print like this, and we could just do that. But then I do need to standard out flush. Okay, so now inside our loop, we are going to let our user prompt equal to get user prompt. We have that. Now, if I want to let's just debug out user prompt and see this loop in action. So if I go run this, oh, you know what would be helpful? Calling this from main. That would probably be helpful. Do you? Oh, I need to await. Await, and then I can try that. Great. Let's do this again. All right. So you can see the prompt down there. I can say hello, and I get that printed back immediately. So perfect. We have get a prompt from the user. Then we have like a big one. We need to send this to the AI. Okay, send this to the AI. What does that even mean? Well, we saw earlier that, see, where was it? We saw yesterday in Insomnia, which is a Postman type replacement that I use for my Mac, that if I go to, like, let's say OpenRouter, and I do this generate here, I need to send this entire big thing. Not going to do the tools right now. We'll do that in a little bit, but I do need to send an object with the model, and I need to send objects with messages that has a system role and it has the user message in it. That's basically what I need to send right now. These things, and then I should get something back from them, and we'll obviously handle that later. But I need to create this object now, which means I need a messages, and I also need some kind of tool for like the context. I'm thinking, because this is going to get pretty big, let's create a mod. Should I call this? I'm going to call this context. I'm probably also going to create a message. Let's just create context like that, and we'll create message like that. I don't think they need to be folders. And then we can start with this. So pub struct, this is going to be a context. You know what we're going to need? We are going to need Serde stuff. So cargo add, we need Serde derive. We also need cargo add Serde JSON. We need both of those things. All right, so let's debug. Let's serialize and deserialize this. I don't actually think this needs to be deserialized, but it's a thing. I don't think I need to clone this at all. I think we're gonna be fine with you. All right, so but we do know we're going to have a model, and this model is going to be a string. And we can pass in what the model is when we create it. So let's import context, function new, create our constructor, and I'll take in the model as a string here. And this can, I'm trying to think, like, is there anything else that I care about doing here with this? I don't know. Okay, some new model string, and then this is going to return a self model. Okay, this is great. So now in the main library, let's create our context. So actually I want to do this up here. So let mute context is equal to context new. And we need the first thing, we need a model in here. Now, I'm usually a fan of grabbing the information and in like the main file and then passing that in. So I'm going to take in model as a string here, and then we'll pass you in to this point. Okay, so I need to get the model. So let's do let model is going to be equal to env. I'm not going to use the bang env, the macro for this, because I don't necessarily need it to be there at compile time. I don't want to compile like some of the stuff in. So env var, and I need the key. I need to go look at what the key is, which means I need my alacrity, mostly so that I can see this from the other side without you looking at what my variable names are. All right, so where am I? Code, Brooks builds, AI agent with Rust and bat. What is it called? Actually, let me just helix it. So even if I bring it over, it's not even in the scroll back buffer. Helix.env. And all right, so the model, we need you. It does look like NeoVim at first glance, doesn't it? I think that's kind of what they were going for. Okay, so IA model is what I named this. So if we look at this, now in the case that we don't get this, I want to unwrap or else, and let's go actually find Haiku in OpenRouter. See models, I want Haiku, and let's use that one to owned, and there we go. So now we can pass this in, and we have the model. Excellent. I guess I need to wrap this in quotes and not be a monster. Closure expect to take one argument. Wait, really? What do you take? Oh, it's an error. I don't care what that error is. Okay, so I want, let's see, we get that. We have the model. We have the main library that creates the context when we pass that in. That's great. The other thing that we need is messages. So let's also go up and create a message. So pub struct message. And we know that message is going to also take a role. So also grab this. You're going to be upset until these things are in here. Import you. Okay, so pub enum role. All right, so we have a couple different roles here. We're going to have a system role. We're going to have a user role and an assist. It is A, right? I know how to spell, kind of. Yeah, it is A. An assistant role. We need to put these on you. These will be fine. Oh, something really important here that I found in testing. If you uppercase any of these, it breaks. It doesn't like that at all. So these have to be Serde rename all lowercase. Everything has to be renamed to lowercase. Why? Don't ask me why. That's the spec. The spec says that, I guess the spec says that you fail it and it like just crashes. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so that goes in there. So in message, we're gonna have a pub role is a role. And then we can also see that the other thing that we need at this point, we'll need more things soon, is content. So pub content is a string. We're going to want to impl on message. And I'm thinking, just for like laziness and to help myself out a little bit, I'm going to create just a couple different constructors here for different purposes. So we're going to do new system. And this will take in just the content, which is a string, and we return a self. So self a function. I was like, every time that doesn't help me out, I know that I've done something wrong, horribly wrong. Okay, role is going to be role system, and then we have content. Okay, great. Then we're also going to have a pub function new user. We have content string self, and we do self role is role user and content. Okay, that's great. I want to in content. When we create a new model here, I can create. It probably makes sense to pull in the system prompt at this time, but I don't know if it matters that much. Basically, though, we want, and I think they're called messages. Yes, messages. Messages is a vector of message. Okay, let's just go ahead and create a system prompt for us. So let's see, system gonna be equal to a message, new system. I want you to be, you are a friendly AI assistant who uses tools to solve problems. There's better ways that I can handle the input for that content, but I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so I do that. I don't need the new user. We have the message, which means that I can also let messages equals a vec of system, and messages goes in here. There we go. Okay, so now we have everything to basically tell OpenAI what we need to do, but we also need to actually send something to OpenAI, which I'm not exactly sure where to put this yet. So let's just create a pub async function send to AI, and we'll sort of like see how we feel about this. Send to AI. Okay, what do we need here? We need the context, which this should probably not be owning of it. So I'm going to just send a reference of the context. We're going to return a result with something inside of it. For right now, I'm just going to do nothing, and we will then have to deal with that. Okay, so send to AI. Now we have documentation up here from the OpenAI library. We're going to be doing the bring your own custom types for this one. I looked through some of the other options, and I don't know. I like the bring your own types. Let's see. Where are you? Bring your own types. So we have to create a client, and the create a client they showed us up here is just a client new. It's pretty simple. Although we do have to, they'll try to read environment variables on their own from this. So if we want to pass that in, we actually have to do something else, don't we? I think there's a client builder. Oh, there's a with config. We have to create a config for OpenAI first. So if we were to do that up here, we can say let config equals OpenAI. Is there an OpenAI config? Do I have to have a feature for this? Let's go look at their docs. Oh, OpenAI config. Okay, so that actually comes from async OpenAI. Yeah, OpenAI config. Oh, available on create feature API only. That's like an underscore API. That doesn't make any sense. That sounds like a hidden behind the scenes feature. I can add that in for right now, but I bet that there's something else that I need in order to use this. And let's see, I used this like a while back, so I need to remember how this works. BYOT, I think, is what I saw there. Bring your own types. So, which is maybe in the client. Client is on feature API only. Is API only default? That seems weird. Okay, so with config, create that with that. I want to completions. So we're going to be using the chat completions. So chat available on feature chat completion only. So that's what I want. And I don't know if I need anything else, but let's go ahead and bring that in. So cargo add async OpenAI F. I know this goes behind me, so sorry about that. And then feature chat completions. I was thinking about it. Okay, there we go. OpenAI config. I want new, and then we can add this. Okay, so we're gonna need an API key. We're gonna need an API base URL because we're not going to open OpenAI, and we are going to need. We don't need a model type stuff here. So I think I want to say those are the only two things that I need. and I need to like build this or something, or no, this might be enough. Yeah, there's a lot of weird little things with the OpenAI API. I don't think anybody has ever pushed back on it, even though there's like that weird stuff with like, okay, user must be lowercase. System, like the role must be lowercase at all times. Choices must be there every single time, even if you like don't make a choice. But then you like that must be there every time, even if you don't make a choice. But several of the other things like are not part of the object that's coming back until they are part of the object. Tool calls can be a single thing. It can be a null, or it could be a vector that may or may not be empty. It's like I feel like it's not quite as helpful for like strongly typed systems that it should be. You know what I should also do is I should also update my OpenAI, my Open Router key during this time. Let me see what you are. API keys. You are yes, you are indeed. You know what I could do? Should I just create a new key? I'll do stream 2. Credit limit. Let's do a credit limit of $1. Don't need to reset. Expiration of 1 day. Copy you into there. I think I did the wrong kind of paste. There we go. Okay, you're good. I want to hide you and back to Open Router. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Let us continue. Okay, so we have, so we need to get our API key and we need to get our API base. I have these two variables, so we can just add them in here. We'll grab them in a little bit. So API key is going to be a string. API base is going to be a string. Okay, great. That's going to give us a config. So let's actually create the client here, which is going to be a client from, with config. I keep on thinking it's like from config, but it's a with config. And we pass it in the config, and we now have our client. So which means we can actually send in messages. So we have our context that we're sending to the AI, but we also need to pass in the client, which I can't remember if this can be immutable or not. So I'm just going to pass in a reference to it and we'll find out. This is going to be a client with open AI config, like that. Okay, let's do this at the very end, and we're going to client chat. So if you remember, we are doing chat completions. So chat, is it chat create? I want to double check. Is a chat completion request, might not need to do a completions after this. I want to search that. So there's completions, client completions, completion usage off of chat. Okay, I don't see anything else. All right, so let's do, we're going to create, I'm not going to do a stream, so it's just going to wait until the entire thing comes back. But, we could do a stream where we get each token as it's generated comes back, which is, by the way, the fact that I can do that should be a hint for how these models operate, which I'm happy to go over and over and over again, because this is still something that a lot of people don't really talk about online, about how the models really work behind the scenes. Okay, so we're going to have to create a request. Ooh, I need the BYOT stuff. I forgot that. Chat, it's not create. Where was that? BYOT. I want a chat BYOT. There are so many bring your own types here. At first, I thought this was like bring your own token, but that doesn't make sense. Although Open Router has its own idea of a BYOT, which is bring your own token, which definitely doesn't help. Okay, so I think it's like a create BYOT. I think that's what it is. So it's a create, and I think it's going to be like a chat. That's what I want. Okay, so create BYOT. And that seems to be it. This is off of chat. Okay, so chat, I don't see that, which means that I'm missing something. I'm missing a feature flags. What am I missing here? I don't think it's the async OpenAI macros. I don't think that's it. I wish it told me under the BYOT create. Okay, they have a full, BYOT. That's probably what I want. I probably want -f BYOT also. There it is. Create BYOT. Creates a mod response for the given chat request. And then this needs to be like what we're sending, which we know is going to be the context. So let's pass in the context, and we're going to get the response back. So let's await. I am going to context this one and say you are sending a request to OpenAI API, because we don't know which one it is. So you're going to yell at me until you know what this type is. And we don't necessarily know what you are. So I'm going to just say that this is a value from sorted JSON value, because we know it's some kind of JSON. Client, don't we know that you're this? Type annotations needed? Are you sure? Hold on. Seems weird. We have this crate here. Oh, wait, I brought in context multiple times. We have mod context. Oh, error context. Yeah, that seems less helpful. Let's change this to be AI context. Sure, that works. Also, this somehow seems to not work. This is now an AI context. This is an AI context. Okay, we're good to go there. And then this is just run in the main file yelling at me. All right, so there we go. We now have this response. I'm going to immediately just debug whatever this response is, so we can just sort of see what we're working with. Okay, so we have you, you're happy. We need to now deal with you. So we need to grab, what do you need? You need API key and base API. So let API key, it's going to be env var. Going to grab that from here. So this is the API key. This is the dangerous one. And then in this case, we are just going to context and say, getting API key from environment variable. So this is needed. And then let's see, base URL. So base URL. Env var, this will be you. Now I want to unwrap or else. I don't care about you. And we're going to just do probably HTTP localhost 8080 v1, I think is what our local server is. You know what? We can actually do the same thing here. Let's do it. We'll just say if it's a key, this would like really mess ourselves up if it didn't end up here. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just going to say print line or eprint line, API key not found in environment, environment, so using localhost instead. And then we're going to return HTTP. Actually, it can be anything. I actually don't even know if I think it can be just an empty string too. So we could probably just do that. That is fine. This needs to be to owned as well. And then we need to actually pass these in. API key and API base URL. Okay. So if I do that, we have some warnings. We can get rid of some of those. Context is going to need to be mutable sometime. So I'm okay with that one. Client. Oh yeah. So this is unused. We actually need to call the client with our user prompt now. So let's get, so client response is going to be equal to send to AI, pass it a reference to the context, pass it a reference to the client. We await, question mark you. All right, we don't get anything with that, so that's fine. Okay, so you're okay. You're okay for right now, and you can go away. Okay, so it is time for us to test this. So cargo run. Okay, well, we got this back. This is great. What did I send them? Didn't I send them hello? Let's see, I got message, content. Hello, I'm a friendly AI assistant ready to help. So I got a whole bunch of stuff back, which I did not need or want. Yeah, I sent what is 6 times 10, and I got back all this stuff, which makes me a little bit concerned. What did I send them? Did I do this correctly? I had new system. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Okay, I forgot to do something really, really important here. I get the user prompt, and then I just send this. I didn't do anything with the user prompt at all. I need to, okay, this is silly. Let's, in context here, I need to pub function add, so add a message. We take in meal reference to self, and we take in a message. This, we need to have the entire message, so I might as well just take in the message as it is. And we're not going to return anything. We're just going to say self.messages push message. And then I want to context add message user prompt. And actually it's not user prompt. I need to message new user and hand it the user prompt. Because apparently I didn't do that. So therefore it didn't actually see my message at all. It just saw the system prompt, and that's what it responded with, which is not great. So I did this user prompt. I don't need to debug that anymore because we know we have that. All right. So let's try this again. But before we can try it, we actually see what we have down here. We okay, so this is our object that we're getting back. And so we can see our response is an object that has a choices array. Okay, so where do I want to put this? I don't know if I want to put this in context or in message. Like it might make sense to put this into or to create like an entire AI response. Because what I think that I want to do is take this entire thing and create Rust types around this. Although, didn't I see that they had their own types too? Let's see, check completions and image model. So they have responses, which has response types. That's interesting. That could be fun to deal with. So if I do response types, I want to pull this in and play around with it. So add F, bring in response types. Okay, that's not what I want. I want it to stay here. And now, can you figure out what you need to be? You cannot. Okay, so can I say that you are what is this? This is a completion response. Completion finish reason, token details, completion usage, create chat completions response. So maybe that one. Okay, let's see if that is indeed correct. So let's try this again. All right, what is 10 times 6? Ooh, okay, so we do get this back. Very nice. So we have a create chat completion response. We have, okay, so we still have a choices array here with a chat choice, index 0. Okay, so we have a message which is a chat completion response message with the content in it and the role of assistant. That's great. So I don't have to do very much work here. We could track how much money we're spending, but it's much better to just not pay attention to it. I don't know. In a real tool, it's probably a good idea to track how much money it is and then throw that into a database or something. So that way you can be aware of how much you're spending as you're running your agent. Chat complete and response message. So I want to get the message out from there and turn it into this message. Impl from chat completion response message for message. Okay, so if I have this, I want to do self. We're going to have role is now going to be, let's actually just grab role out of here. Role equals value dot role is right. I get you, but what type of role is this? Role. That this doesn't help at all. Because I doubt it's from this type of role. So I'm probably going to need to do impl from a role. I want this to be so async OpenAI types chat role. That's what I want. But then I want you to, I already have my role, so I can't use that. I need to, okay, we need to say OpenAI, async OpenAI chat, OpenAI config. And where do I get this from? Where was this from? This was from role from async OpenAI role or something. Okay, come on, help me out here. Implement missing members, but I want this. No, that's not what I want. Okay, I need to find out where it came from. Like what is this? Async OpenAI types chat. Oh, that's what. Okay, so async OpenAI types chat role. Okay, there we go. From this, I want to match value. And okay, so for system, give me self system. For user, this is self user. For assistant, this is self assistant. We are going to need to add in tool. And then function isn't really a role, so I'm not going to add that in. Self tool, and then do I'm gonna do unimplemented here. Okay, so this is, we get the role, and I want to do our role from this. So this is role from value dot role. Let's content equals value dot content. I think you're happy. This needs to be a role like that. Oh, and that's an option string. Okay, so value content, unwrap or default. Okay, so I want to send back the message that we're getting back. So we get this response, which is chat completion response. I want to get the message equals message from response. I don't need to debug that, and we're going to now respond with a message, which is ours, and return the message. Okay, it's not satisfied. Okay, so the trait bound message convert from async AI tabs create chat completion response is not satisfied. So hold on. Create chat completions response. Oh, because this is the wrong one. So I wanted create chat completions response. This is the type that I want. You're there. There's no role in here. Oh, right. We have to get choices out of here first. Okay, so response. Then we want let our. So I probably want to return a fail. So let's do let choice equals response choices. Let's get the first. I want this to be some. Otherwise, we're going to bail, and this can bail with AI responded without a message. Okay, so now we have this choice. Then I want to grab choice message, and we pass into here. Chat completion response message is what I want, which is what we had, I think. Cannot move out of choice message, which is behind a shared reference. Can I do something like that? Message from, so you won't let me deal with a reference for this. So why won't you let me move that out? Can I, can I do like an owned? Like this would be great if I could just do this as like an owned. Choices first. There's not like a first owned, right? Can I do iter into iter? Into iter first? There's no first. Well, that kind of sucks. Was that doggo barking? That is doggo barking. That is Ranger barking at something around. I don't know what. He barks at birds a lot. That's the thing he hates the absolute most. Especially the bigger birds, like the hawks, the crows, and the vultures. Okay, so we have this. You're yelling at me. Okay, so can I just do this as reference in here? So search for chats. He wouldn't know what to do with the vulture if he got one. That's what I tell him. I tell him he wouldn't know what to do with any bird if he caught it, like a crow. Like those things are big. And if one actually came down to say hi, sure, he could win, but at what cost? It'd be a Pyrrhic victory at best. Okay, so you're upset. Right, I want you to be back to first again. You're good. We have an error here. Cannot move out of value content, which is shared. Okay, so value content, give me as a ref. Okay, fine. I will map this with a to owned or a, can I just do clone? Oh, we can do cloned. Can't I do cloned? I can do iter cloned. Does that work? Oh, but now it's an iter. Okay, hold on. Because content is an option with a string in it. If I want to, you know what? I can take it. I can take it because we don't do anything else with it. So let's just take you. Oh, because I can't borrow. I could borrow you as mutable. That's fine. Now you need to be mutable from the, what is this? This is from choice set message. Okay, so you need to be mutable. This is all because I'm trying to do this entire first thing here, which, you know what? This will be a lot simpler if I just do this. Let choice equals response choices of 0. And we'll just crash that way. That'll be fine. And then we'll just pass you choice set message back to that. Cannot borrow value. Okay, hold on. Okay, now you're happy there. You're unhappy. Cannot move out of that because chat choice does not implement the copy trait. Do I have to clone you? I will clone you. I will clone you just because I wanted to get this done. And there's probably like a better way for me to get that out of here, but I don't care that much about this. Okay, so we have our choice. We have no errors anymore, so we have our message. We're returning our message. So if we go back to our README, we send this to the AI. We need to process the response, which we're starting to do. We need to add it to the context. So we have our message here. So here this is the AI message. I need to add this to the context, right? But we have that already. So we can say context, add message, the AI message. Okay, good. We also need to print out the response. Now I'm thinking that if I go into a message here, we could impl display for message. And I'm thinking just a print line would be good enough for this. So let's just do write for this. We'll pass in that formatter, and we will say You know what? I think we're also going to want to implement display for this too. So impl display for role. We want to write f, and in this case, I want like a toString on this, but I don't really have that. So I need to let our role, it's gonna be equal to match on self. All right, let's get rid of all of the to-dos. So to do, we get rid of you, and we're gonna change you into quotes and take you, copy you, paste you into here. Okay, and this will be a role that we write out like that. Then in this other display, we can now write out, I want the role of like who sent this. So this will be self.role. And then I want maybe like a space or maybe like a quote, colon, and then the actual content. This will be self.content like that. So that's perfect. So then over here, before I add this message in, we're going to do a print line of AI message. And when I put in what I should also print out mine too. So let's create that user message equals, and that's this entire thing. We want to print line user message. Okay, then we context add the message. We get the new AI message. We print that out. Context add message. This is the user message. Okay, and then this will go back and forth. And so we should be able to have a ongoing conversation with the AI where it kind of remembers what's going on. Let's test that out. So if I say, what is, ooh, you're right, adds are playing. 10 plus 6, 16. What was my previous math question? There he goes. Okay, so now we have a chatbot. We've created a full chatbot. All right, we have a minute left. We don't have to add any more fun things. I've already done enough. I guess we can clean up some of these warnings. Let's see. We don't need the bail anymore, apparently. We don't need this value anymore because we're getting our user types. And we don't need that. That's great. Can consolidate our use statements. You're yelling at me because you want that to be capital G and you want this to be capital AI. Okay, and then we're also printing out the response. So this is great. We have done everything. We indeed have a chatbot. All right, welcome back from ad break. So we have implemented the first part of our plan. We basically have a chatbot. We've tested out here. I put in what is 10 plus 6. User asks what is 10 plus 6. Assistant is then 10 plus 6 is 16. I asked what is my previous math question. Assistant then says your previous math question was that. So that's great. Now, I want to, what do I want to do with this? What's the next part? The next part is all about tool usage, right? We want to advertise the tools that we're sending to the AI. So this is probably down here. Let's just say advertise. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to use a random number generator tool. So advertise random number generator tool, which means we need to, maybe it's part of this. We need to create the tool. We need to add the tool to the context. And then we need to test by asking the AI how many tools it has access to. So that's what we're going to work on next. I'm thinking we're going to create a mod tools. Do I want to put that there or do I want to create my own tools? I'm going to put everything in here, but I think normally if we were creating multiple tools, I would probably want to, yeah, let's do this like in a more appropriate architecture than we did yesterday. So I'm going to do a pub mod, so random number. So pubs mod random, let's create this under here. Let's go. Okay, so we have the advertise tool, and then we have the tool name. I did not need to do this. Okay, so let's do I want a pub. So first we want to advertise this. I want some kind of name for this. So this is, let's do a name. So pub const name, this is a stir. We're gonna call this random number. And let's do like an actual create tool. So pub function create tool. I don't think I need anything in here. We're just going to return, could this be a value or should this be like an actual tool? I wonder if async, is there like a tool? There's a response tool, which makes me think that maybe there is an async, oh, come on, let me search. Tool. That's a, no, not a, okay, so not a response tool, not a role tool, not a message role tool. That's interesting. Create systems for, okay, not tools, probably not that. Create run request args. No, I don't think that's it. Create response, no. Tukuma, no. The tools to add this file to, no, I don't think that's it. Create run request. I want a chat. I want a chat tool. Okay, so let me try chat. Ooh, I can't do that. So let's go chat and then see if there's a tool. So there's a chat completion tool, which gives me a function object, but okay, so name, description, parameters. Ooh, but this is just a JSON value, so there's not really much to go in here. So I don't think it makes sense for me to use their types here. I think we're going to use our own type, which we saw in Insomnia. So here's what a tool, if you missed yesterday, here's what a tool looks like. It's just this object. And in fact, this is a random number tool, so we can, this is going to be I'm just going to call this a value. So assert JSON value. I want to, I'm going to do JSON like that. Paste you in there. Okay, so we have type, function. It's always a function right now. Name, can change you to be name. Description, generate a random integer between min and max. Parameters, type object, properties, min, type number, description, the lowest possible number that can be generated. For example, 0, max, type number, description, the largest possible number that can be generated. For example, 10. Required, min, and max. And that's what this is. So perfect. Now, I need to add into my context the idea of tools in here. So pub tools. This is going to be a vec of, I guess we need, we're going to do this as vec of probably value. Value from start JSON. That's fine. But when I do new, so this is another choice that we have. Sometimes with an agent, you don't want it to always have access to every possible tool. But in this case, we're going to give it access to every possible tool. So let's do tools equals a new vector. And our first tool is going to be, let's do tools. Did I not? Yeah, I pub mod random number. I have tools, pub create tool. That's what I want to do. Okay, that's the problem. I want to maybe like available tools. Okay, tools, that random number, create tool. Okay, tools is going to be the available tools. There we go. Okay, so now we have this one tool that's available here, and I don't think you need to do anything else with this, really. We should be able to run this and ask it what tools are available to you. So what tools are available to you. I have access to one tool. Random number generates a random integer between a minimum and maximum value that you specify. Okay, cool. Example use case, rolling a dice. So, I mean, remember it's not thinking, but this is just, you know, it seems like it's getting what I, like the responses are what I want it to be. So that's great. So when I create the message, so when I get this message back, we get this chat completion response. We get the choices. I am going to need to find what the tool call is at some point in time, which I think is actually from this choice. So if we go to this message, get our from, so if I look at value, here's this tool calls, which has this option. So these are like the potential tool calls that got called. So this is going to be important here, because this kind of sucks, but we're going to have to, in the message, have a tool calls in here. So pub tool calls, which is going to be an option. And we actually see in Insomnia, let me fix, okay, where did I break that? Oh, I broke this because uppercase user. Okay, so roll 1d10, let's remove you. So that way we're asking it, hey, please roll 1d10. User not found. That's lowercase user. What did I do? What did I do wrong? Why am I getting user not found anymore? Oh wait, the token is wrong. That's what the problem is. I need to open up you and update my token with a brand new token, because I forgot that one went not good anymore. Not good anymore is a technical term. It expired. Okay, let's try this again. So generate off of you. There we go. Okay, perfect. So we see now message assistant tool calls now exist. Before it doesn't exist. So it is definitely have to be an option. I can't just make it like an empty vector all the time. And we get type function, index, ID. We need to keep the ID. And we need to keep all this stuff. So we need to take the entire message and throw this into here. And there is a certain amount here that we can not include. So role user, throw that in. Okay, so we have to keep role assistant. I have to keep the content. I can get rid of refusal. I can get rid of reasoning. But we have to keep tool calls. I have to keep the type. I have to get rid of the index. I can get rid of the index. I have to keep the ID, and I have to keep the rest of this stuff. So this is the bare minimum of what I need to store into context from the assistant. Okay, so that means I need to add all of this stuff into the message. Now we already have role, and it can turn it into the assistant. That's fine. We have content, which here is a null, but I think that can turn it into I think that Serde JSON or Serde can actually turn this into an empty string. So I think we're okay there too. Tool calls. That's what's next. So let's do this one at a time. So we have tool call, which is an option unknown. This is gonna suck for a little bit of time, which means that we need some kind of tool call. So pub struct tool call. And then this also needs to have this entire thing here. Okay, tool call is going to have a type. So immediately, big problem here. I can't do like a type like that. That's a keyword. So we have to do tool call type. That's going to be a string. And then we're going to have to immediately Serde rename. I think it's rename to. No, it's just rename to type. Okay. We need an ID. That's also going to be a string. And then we're going to have a function object. So pub function, right? That's what it's called. Yep. function, and this is going to have to be something out here. So we're going to have the pub struct tool call function. Tool call function, we'll need to bring in this. What do we have in here? We have a name. So pub name, that's going to be a string. And then we have arguments, which we notice is a string. So let's do pub. Is it actually yeah, it is arguments. I'm just going to keep that as a string for this case. We'll be fine. Okay, let's go backwards and sort of fill this on out. We're going to have a tool call function in here. That's going to be fine. And then tool call is going to be an option of a tool call. Okay, that's great. You are in a new system. We don't need tool call in here. So tool call is a none. In a new user, we don't, let's see. Do I want to put in, wait a second. I don't put this in here. I put this in the wrong place. This needs to go in the other one. Oh, oops. Okay, hold on. I put everything in the wrong place here. It needs to go into someplace else. Let's see. I want to tool call, take you. We're going to delete you. And we're going to go into context. This is where we need to put it. Okay, so here we have our tools value. And this is actually this. Oh, you know what? This is the response. This is a response. Hold on. I did what's correct. I confused myself. But this is on a response, which means that this is a pub. Yeah, so never mind. I was correct. This is a tool calls, because in the response we can get this, but in the sending out we don't have it, which is kind of silly, but that's where it is. So this is an option with a vec of tool call. I confused myself. So here we do have tool calls is a none, because when we create a new system, it doesn't have any tool calls. When we create a new user, we have tool calls, and that is also a none. Okay, great. But when we get this back from a chat completion message, we might have tool calls. Okay, we need to figure out the tool calls. How do we get this? So let's do tool calls. So from the value, here you go. We have the tool calls, but we're going to need to go in here and convert this chat completion message tool calls into a tool call. So tool calls, which is an option already. So that's fine. So we're going to map you because it's okay for it to be an option. And so we have a response tool call, and we need to take this response tool call and turn it into a vector tool calls. So now we need to iterate through this. Let's do this one thing at a time. So response tool calls, that's into iterator because I own it right now, and that's fine. And I want to continue owning it. So into iterator, and now we're going to map you. So this is, I guess this calls, and now this is really going to be a response tool call. Have I lost? I feel like I lost this. This is unknown. This is a vector response tool call. Oh, that's what I need to do. Okay. I need to take the response tool call and I want to turn it into our message as opposed to one of these messages. Because if I take a response tool call, looks like I can't see that. So let's do our own tool call from, I don't have that implemented yet. Response tool call like this. And then we'll return that. I can come back later on and implement map and then probably just like a from tool call on there. This is helpful for me to see the type. So it's chat completion message tool calls. I'm surprised that this is this still multiple things? Like, what are you? I have like serialized to owned. I don't think I can like get first off of here. So I don't think you're a vector. Chat completion message to calls. Let's go take a look at this. So chat completion message tool calls. Okay, so it's an enum, which has a function or custom in here. Interesting. Okay. I don't know which one we have. So I think we're going to have to debug to find out what we got. Okay, so let's take this chat completion message tool calls. And I want to do this. Okay, so where's our tool call? We want to impl from chat completion message tool calls for tool call. Okay, so I want to create this tool, which I need to figure out what the heck I have here. And I don't know what this is. So I have this value. I kind of want to debug what the value is and then just straight up panic. Okay, I have a ton of errors to get to this point. So we need to fix this. Okay, so we're gonna have our tool calls. I need to implement this. So we need to say tool call from response tool call. We then need to, so this becomes option map. Okay, so I need to iter collect you. Oh, not there. I need to collect you here and then return you. You're unknown, but as soon as I do tool calls here, it should know what you're supposed to be. Redundant closure. Yes, I know. Don't worry about that. We'll figure it out. Okay. No errors. Just that one warning. So let me try this. And I want to say, roll a 1d6 die. Okay. We got our debug message. We have a chat completion message tool call. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Where was that? That's our debug right here. So this value, so line 98, it's a chat completion message tool call. We have an ID and the function. So perfect. So let ID equals value dot. We have type ID. That's okay. This is weird. I have a chat completion message tool calls. Chat completion message tool. Oh, that's the wrong one. I have chat completion message tool calls. It's so weird because it feels like I have something else in here. That doesn't feel like an enum, does it? I mean, we got the debug, so it's working. If I go into here, what have we got? So I have this function, which is from, okay, so we have the struct, which is a chat completion message tool call, which is singular from the function. So I need to, I think what's interesting to me though, is that when I printed this out, look at what I get. Value function. There it is. I missed this part. Value function. So I want to, I wonder if I want to match this. So let's match value. So we're going to get this function here. We get the chat completion tool call. This is going to kind of suck, but I want to let the ID equals chat completion message tool call. Okay, so we grab the ID out. We let the, what else do we need? We already know the tool call type has to be, function, right? Yeah, it has to be function. Although I can just grab this out of here. Tool call type equals chat completion tool call dot function. I guess you don't have a type. So this one will have to be just a string. And I think that's just function, right? Yeah, it's just function. Function like you, to owned. There we go. Okay, so we get the tool type and then we have the function, which is a tool call function, which means I need to impl from for this. So impl from, okay, what type is this? If we go into U, it's a function call. Okay, so the function call is open async, OpenAI. Ooh, I might need this assistant types. I wonder if we're going to need that. So async OpenAI. So async OpenAI types assistants, which I do not have access to. So we need to go add that in. So cargo add F, and then you are going to be assistant types. All right, we have some time. Oh, the ads are on. All right, I will, I'm going to go take a quick break for this, and I will be right back. Okay, assistants. And this was I think it was a function call was what this was. So for tool call function, okay, we're going to extract the name. So value name, let the arguments. Now we don't know what those are yet, so I'm perfectly fine of calling this arguments equals value dot arguments being a string, and we return self with the name and arguments. That is fine. Now you're upset because I don't need you. Don't need you there. Okay, so we have tool call type. We have the let use in there, and I need a I'm gonna call this the function equals tool call function from is the chat completion tool call. What are you? Oh, chat completion tool call is a function call. Yes, that's exactly what I want. Okay, so we get that. Now I want to return a self tool call type, ID, and function. And then here, we should not get this. So I'm just going to say that this is unreachable. And hopefully that's true. And then I want to return you. Okay, I don't know what that was about. And yes, I'm not using you yet, but I might use you in the future depending upon how this works. Okay, so you're happy, which means we get the tool call. Now this all happens from when I'm creating the message in the main library, right? So up here, we print the user message, we send to AI, we get this message back, and then I print the AI message. What I'm not doing is printing, I kind of want to just debug a reference to the AI message at this point in time, just to make sure that we got what we expect to get. So let's do this. So cargo run. Roll a 1d6 die. Okay, we can see assistant. Roll assistant. Content is nothing. Tool calls. We have an option because it's calling tool calls with a vector of a tool call. Tool call type is function. ID is the tool ID. Function, we have name, and it called the arguments correctly. This is perfect. And we have the name here, which is also correct. Excellent. Okay, so let's head over to our README. What do we have? We advertise. Okay, so we actually did this previously already. Now, we have to handle the tool call. What does that mean? Well, we need to add the tool call. Did I mean to spell S that way? That is how you do it when it's a potential plural or not. It's what I get for using open source spell check / whatever it's called, like pronunciate. No, what is this? It's I forget what it's called when you're trying to do like also the rest of the English type things. Like make sure it's good words. Ignore you. It's fine. So add the tool calls to the response message. So that's correct. Grammar check. Yes, that's what I meant to say. Ignore you again. Let's continue with this. Add the tool calls to the response message. We've got that. We want to now run the tool, right? So for each tool call, because there could be multiple of them, we can play around with that. So for each tool call, we want to run the tool call, print the, let's see, we add the tool call. So add the tool call to the context. And then out here, we're going to send result of tool calls to AI. So we need to send it back to them again. All right, make it so I don't get any errors or warnings in here. Here's what we're gonna do. Send the results of the call to AI, which then to this means we need to handle AI response. That means we need to add response message to context, and we need to print response. Okay, add a determinator before this noun phrase. What do you mean? Oh, add wants me to use proper English. Okay, fine. Okay, so first off, we handle the tool call. So, which is we add the tool calls to the response message. Do we do that right now? I don't think we do. We basically have our AR message. We see the AR message, and we add the AR message into the context, which is great. But is that what I meant? Add the tool calls to the response message. I don't think that's what I mean. For each tool call. Okay, so we need to see all the tool calls that we do. So we see, okay, this is fine. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to get rid of that one. Okay, so we need to, for each tool call, which only exists if they exist. So if let sum, this actually makes sense to do it here. We have our tool calls equals, okay, so we have our AI message. Ooh, we need to clone you, which we can't do until we add clone to message. So we need to add the ability to clone. And if we do that, we need to add the ability to roll, clone, and then also to tool call. And then also that means to tool call function. Okay, so we clone you in there. AI message dot tool calls. Okay, so we have some tool calls. For tool call in tool calls, taking ownership of this is probably fine because it's going to be dead as soon as we're done with it anyways. So we might as well just take ownership of it. Okay, what can we do with this? We need the name extracted from here. So that tool, this is going to be name equals, I can get this as a reference, but as an asref probably makes more sense. We'll do tool call function name as stir, and we want to match on the name. But you know what? Can I put in, I can't remember. Can I do something like this and then have something like set up for it? I can't remember if I can do this or not. I think we tried it before and I completely forgot if I did this. So if I do tools, random number, name, because if I could do that where I match on you, that would be perfect. And so if this is the case, then we're going to want to come into our random number tool here and add in a pub function run, basically run for the tool. We're going to take in arguments, which is going to be a string. We're going to have to deal with that. And we're going to have to return probably you know what we should return? We should return a message. So regardless of what this is, import you. Okay, so this is going to be fun. We're going to have to match. Let's let the args. It's going to be, well, we actually have to know what this is. We have a pub struct. Does this need to be pub? This doesn't need to be pub. It's going to be strug args. Actually, just call this random number args. We want pub min. It's a I32 if possible, and a pub max, which is an I32. That's all I need from this. Okay, so we're going to match JSON, std JSON from stir and pass it the arguments. Okay, we are going to get, if it's okay, we get the args. And I pass it on through. Also, I need to tell you what you need to be. This needs to be random number args. There we go. So we get that. If you're in error, sure, we get the error message. If we get the error, I need to do an early return here. So I'm actually going to eprint line that this happened so we can see it. So eprint line, we're going to say AI didn't pass in the arguments correctly. I think that we should pass in the arguments itself and then maybe the error with maybe debug, so that way we can see everything properly. But then we're going to return. Let's give a new tool message. So on our impl from here, we're going to do a pub function, new tool. We have content. That's okay. We need something that can impl into string. So anything that can do a toString on it, essentially. We return a self. We're going to do a self. All right, role. That is going to be a role tool. Content. That is going to be content into like that. We want tool calls. None. Because our tools don't call other tools. That just doesn't make any sense. Okay, random number tool. We want to return a message, new tool. Okay, our content is going to be error. The tool, I guess like error parsing the arguments, and then we can pass in just this error. You know what? I'm going to format this so I can actually interpolate that correctly. There we go. And then we do that early return there. So we now have the args correctly. We need to actually generate a random number. That would probably be helpful. Let's cargo add. Let's cargo add rand. Okay. So, you need to have deserialize on this. Let's add you in. So we want derive. Let's just add debug. Just add just put in both serialize and deserialize. Why not? Okay, so you're going to be happy there. We don't return a message yet, but we need to generate the random number, and we kind of can do that now, right? So random number is going to be equal to we have rand. We can generate RNG. Can I do that? Or I can't remember. Oh, random range. That's what I want. Random range. Our random range is going to be args min to and including args max. Okay. So we have a random number, and I now want to return a message, new tool, and the content is going to be the random number. Great. The retrieved bound string convert from i32. Wait, I thought i32s had a into string on it. Like, can't I do toString? Like I thought I could do toString. Oh, converts the, okay. So I don't want into, I want a toString. Let's go to the message. Let's change this to be toString. And so instead of into, we do toString like that. Oh yeah. And you don't implement, you don't need anything like that. Okay. We're happier there. So now I could just send this number in and we're fine. Okay, so the first part of this is correct, but we're missing something really important here, which we would get an error before we do anything. But let me get back to this, and we'll continue running this tool and get everything set up before I go back and fix the other problem. So I want to let basically it's the result of the tool equals, and you're going to be, I want tools, random number, run, and we pass in the arguments, which is the tool call function arguments. And then if we have anything else here, because we don't know what it is, anything else, we are going to have to return a new message, new tool, error, the tool, just format this, error the tool we have name doesn't exist. Okay, so we get this message here. Oh, is this not possible? Expect an array slice found to stir. How do I do this? Is it possible? I can't remember if I can do something like this. Ooh. Oh, I just do it like that and it works. Well, never mind. It's a lot simpler than I try to make it out to be. We're going to take this result and, something that I would like to do is when we run a tool, I want to print line running random number tool. And then it would be nice to maybe like just debug print the random number here, just so that we can make sure that the AI doesn't hallucinate right now, because that is still a possibility. Like this, just because you ran a tool, just because the AI chooses to run the tool doesn't mean that it is going to properly read what responds from it. Okay, so we get results, we run that. We want to take the result and we want to throw this into the context. So we're going to context. We're going to push context add message and pass it in the result. Okay, great. Then at the end here, so if we look at our README, so where are we? So for each tool call, we're inside there. We run the tool call. We add the tool call to the context. We need to now send the result of tool calls to AI again. Okay, so at the end, after we run through all of our tool calls right here, we want to get let AI tool response equals. We want to now send to AI. We're going to pass it the context again. We have to pass the client again. We have to await. We have the question mark. And we now get this message back. We can print out the message if there is something to print out. There should be, right? So it's possible that there's other things for it to do. So let's go ahead and print line the AI tool message. AI tool response. Why aren't you helping me out here? There you go. Thank you for that. I also want to send this, add this to the context. So context, add message, AI tool response. So that goes in there. Okay, let's see what we got. So send the result of the tool calls to the AI. We handle the AI response. We add the response message to the network, and we print the response. Okay, that's great. Let's see. Do I have any errors? I have a warning. Let's fix this. Replace with just that. Great. All right. What's the chance that this works first try? Roll a die. Roll a 1d6 die. Okay, the assistant running random number tool. We got a 3. It's certainly taking a lot longer to get responses back, which is a bit disconcerting. Like, am I stuck in an infinite loop? I shouldn't be, right? Because I'm in a for loop. Yeah, so I'm stuck here. So something's going on. So random number equals 3. So we know that we called the function, right? So we ran this. That's why we get this random number from random number. That's great. We get this result, and I add the message to result here. Okay, that should be fine. I need to so I believe that we're running into send to the AI is probably where it's freezing. My favorite way to do that is just debug this about to send to AI. Also, what probably could help here, what if we just debug the full context of what we're about to send there? Because that might be helpful in us knowing, like, hey, we can throw the entire context into our what is it called? Insomnia, and check to see if maybe that's a problem. Okay, so we debug context that. I want to debug here. Let's just debug the AI tool response that we got back. I'm expecting we see this. We do not see this. That's my guess, is that we're freezing in here during the await because we're awaiting forever. All right, roll a 1d6 die. Okay, here is our full context. And okay, so model, Anthropic, Claude, everything is fine. Our messages, message, role system, you're a friendly AI assistant. Okay, this is great. Message, okay, this is all fine. Okay, the role, the assistant had no content, tool calls, some. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I remember what I forgot to do. Remember what I said, like, oh, I need to come back and do this later, and then I didn't. That's the problem. So in the message, I need to have an option tool call ID, which has to be an option of a string, which is going to be if it's a tool, we also need to pass in. So tool call ID is a none. Don't do that. Why that? Ooh, new tool. Okay, so I need the ID, which is a string. This is going to be a sum ID. So we need to pass in the ID from the tool call. And we actually see that here. We have this ID here. We need to pass that in. Otherwise, we're getting a 400 back. But the way this, the way the API is running is it just freezes, which to me is not the best SDK experience out there. I think that it should call an error. It should throw an error, not just freeze. Okay, so tool call ID, that's great, but I need, okay, so in this response, self, okay, so missing tool call ID. So tool call ID from chat, completion message response, tool calls, I map from you. This is, I'm going to do this. This has to be a none here. I'm surprised that it's not causing, oh, you know what? I need to see wherever I'm calling new tool, this is where we need that. So references. So random number, we're calling new tool here. So we need to pass in an ID. So hold on, so in run, we need an ID of a string here. And then we pass that along here and also here. Okay, error. We need let ID equals tool call. Well, we have the ID right there. So you are ID, new tool, ID. Okay, we have no errors. Let's see if this works any better. Run, roll a 1d6. There we go. Okay, let's get rid of these debugs here because they kind of suck. And let's try this again. Roll a 1d6. All right, so we can see the assistant doesn't say anything. So what I probably want to do is, if the AI message doesn't have anything to say, then we don't print this. So what I probably want to do is, if AI message content is not empty, so if that's not empty, then we print this. But regardless, we're adding this to the context and we're good to go there. Okay, so that's, I just closed Helix. That's not the best. Okay, so assistant that takes care of that. Running random number tool, that's great. Source tools, random number equals 1. Okay, assistant, you rolled a 1 on the d6. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. You know, with this user, I'm getting this new line here because I think I need to strip everything coming off of user before I print that. So in the library, let's get before the prompt. So in the get user prompt, we get the prompt like this. We grab you. I think I want to strip it. So prompt, trim it. That's what I want. Trim you on both sides. That returns that. So let's to own this, and we're perfectly fine again. So that should take care of this extra line down here. Okay, so that's good. That's great. Perfect. And I can try to have it run two things at the same time as well by having it roll 2 dice simultaneously. So roll 2d6. Yep, running random number 2, we got a 3, and then also running random number 2, we got a 4, and then we got a 4. So it ran 2 tools at the same time. Perfect. All right. So I want head over to the README. We are doing all of this. This is great. Now, handle the tool call. We want to allow the AI to basically continue running tools until it's done. What does that mean? We basically need to loop around the handle tool call. So loop around the for each tool call. So loop around for each tool call if the last, so if previous message, so if previous response from AI called a tool, continue, else break. Okay. All right. Allow the AI to continue running tools until it's done. So what does this look like? So we see if we have some tools from the AI message tool calls, and we see the AI message. Now I add the AI message. Okay, so we get this. Okay, so send to AI. So we add the user message to the context. We get the AI message. We print out the AI message if there's something to print out. I then add the AI message to the context. And then we also see if there are any tool calls. But we're constantly adding to the context from within here. So what if I grab the most recent AI message from the context, which we know is going to be the AI message, and check to see if there are any tool calls. So what if, like down here, we do while we want to get the last AI message, right? So this is gonna be a bit. In fact, should I do no? This needs to be either it needs to be a while or an infinite loop, one of the two. So while context messages. Okay, so if I get the last, it's an option. So is some and we get the last message, and I want this message tool calls. This needs to be is some and too, right? Really is, as long as it's is some. I guess is some and also makes sense here. Okay, so tool calls, and I want this to be tool calls is empty, basically to not be empty. Now I'm grabbing the tool calls out of here, but this is also assuming that the tool calls don't exist. I'm thinking that we get to change this a little bit, but let's wrap around this if. Okay, so we know we have tool calls. So I kind of don't need this to be an if let sum, right? Because, well, I do need to get the last one, don't I? So instead of AI message, let's do this as context message context messages. Let's get the last one. We know we can unwrap this because we already checked to see that it exists. So that gives us a vec of tool calls. And okay, so if we get you, we get the tool call, we throw you into the context, we print things out as they happen. Again, the tool call response, it may or may not respond so we get something. I can't remember if I'm going to need to print out the final response. I think this is going to do it. Let's see. Cannot move out of message tool calls. I do not want to. Okay, so what happened? Wall message. Okay, so I have a message tool calls. Consider cloning the values if I think it's fine. These are pretty small. So can I, let's just clone you. That'll be fine. I could do an as ref too, and that would also be fine probably. Okay, so consider borrowing here. Sure, let's borrow you. We don't, let's see, do we need to own you? I don't think we do. Although we could also clone you. Okay, ID, we do need to clone you. Tool call arguments, we need to clone you. Cannot borrow context as mutable because, ooh, yes, this is the only problem here is that context, we're borrowing context as mutable and then also trying to do something immutable here. That's an issue. Let's see if we can get around this. So instead of borrowing, what if we just clone the last message? So we take the last and we cloned you. Then we're perfectly fine. I'm actually kind of surprised we don't need to clone you anymore, right? Yeah, we don't need to clone you. I'm kind of surprised that Clippy is not yelling at me saying, hey, unnecessary clone. I don't have any errors, so you're perfectly fine. Let's test this to see how it does. I might be missing one last call to the AI, and I can't remember if I need to or not. Okay, so roll a 1d6 and keep rolling until you get a 6. Well, look at that. Everything works just fine. So I basically gave it an instruction. So the initial prompt, hey, agent, please do this thing, but keep on doing it until it's done. So this is like the power of agents at this point in time. It will not stop working until it gets done. This is also why agents can have basically an unlimited price cap to it. Because what would happen if I told it to run and do it to like, a 1D100 and wait until you get a 100 on a side device? That could cause a lot of money. Especially since I'm going to Haiku. Imagine if you did this when you're going to Opus and you're just calling it over and over and over again. That would also be a lot of money. Okay, so anyways, that's what I told it. Assistant, I'll roll 1d6 repeatedly until we get a 6. It ran the random number tool. Random number equals 3. Assistant, I rolled a 3, not a 6 yet. Let me keep rolling. So sometimes the assistant chats between tool calls. Sometimes it doesn't. It really depends. You pay, like regardless if I print these out, I pay for the fact that it generated these outgoing tokens. So that's also something to be aware of. Running random number tool. Random number equals 3. Another 3, continuing. And then I finally got a 6. It took 3 rolls. Great. If I was willing, well, I put in a limit of $1. So I could just have this roll 1D100 and we see how long it takes. And we also see how expensive that is. So I don't know. Why don't we do it with a 1D20? And why don't we have it roll with advantage? So roll, I could remove the assistance here and like sort of see, like it depends upon how much I trust it. Why don't we do that? I'm going to keep the print lines. I do like the idea that we know that it's calling the, it's calling and like using the tool calls. So I want the random number tool. So I'm going to say, yes, it's okay to print this out, but let's not do that there. So we just print U, and I think we're good. I think that's all I really care about. So I just want to know that it's doing this. Okay, roll 2d20 and keep rolling until one of them is a 20. All right, let's see how long this takes. Well, we got on the first try. Well, that's cool. Now, if I were to tell it to like continue rolling 1d20 until we hit, both of them being 20s, that would be something else altogether. That would be much harder, much less great. But we're out of time. I'm not going to actually do that. We have actually implemented this. Let's go ahead and get this. Let's make sure we don't have anything to go there. Our README, everything is implemented here. Let's mark that down.